General Tabo Soabia, once a highly decorated and respected military figure with 42 commendations to his name, now finds himself at the center of one of the most disturbing corruption and murder cases the country has seen in years. A man who was trusted across 3 provinces and viewed as a symbol of discipline and service is now standing in handcuffs, accused of orchestrating the killing of a protected witness. The allegations suggest that Soabia was attempting to silence the one person capable of exposing a vast and deeply rooted network of corruption operating at the highest levels of the military and government. The case has shaken public confidence, not only because of the seriousness of the crime, but because of who stands accused and what his actions reveal about the system meant to protect citizens and uphold the law. At the heart of the case is the murder of an individual known publicly only as Witness D, a crucial informant who had been placed under legal protection due to the explosive nature of the information he possessed. Witness D was reportedly in possession of evidence that could have exposed senior military officers, contractors, and politicians involved in large-scale financial misconduct. Prosecutors alleged that General Soabia played a central role in eliminating this threat. Far from being a spontaneous act, investigators believe the killing was carefully planned and executed by a highly organized group, with Soabia acting as a key decision-maker rather than a lone operator. The arrest itself was dramatic and unsettling. At precisely 2:47 a.m. on a Tuesday morning, police units moved in on Soabia's residence in Watercliff, a heavily fortified property resembling a military stronghold with reinforced walls, multiple locks, and advanced surveillance capabilities. The operation required the involvement of elite units, including the Hawks and military police, due to concerns about Soabia's influence and potential resistance. Neighbors reported seeing at least 15 armored vehicles flood the area, their powerful lights cutting through the darkness and illuminating entire blocks. Despite the overwhelming show of force, Soabia did not resist. Officers later stated that they found him awake in his study, papers neatly spread across his desk, as though he had anticipated their arrival. He surrendered his firearm without incident, asked to put on his uniform, and requested that his wife not be disturbed. His calm demeanor deeply unsettled investigators, who found his composure under such circumstances unusual and troubling. Inside the study, police uncovered a chilling piece of evidence, a handwritten list containing 12 names, 11 of which had been crossed out. Witness D's name appeared as number 7. This discovery reinforced the prosecution's theory that the murder was part of a systematic effort to eliminate perceived threats. Witness D, whose real identity had been concealed for 38 months under a court-ordered witness protection program, was later identified as Menosa, a procurement official within the Department of Defense. Over several years, Menosa had quietly documented irregularities in military contracts, tracking fraudulent transactions that totaled approximately 2.3 billion rand. When internal complaints yielded no action, he secretly copied documents and photographed records, compiling damning evidence of collusion between contractors, military officers, and politicians. Recognizing the gravity of the information and the danger Menosa faced, prosecutors placed him under witness protection. His testimony was considered vital to dismantling a complex corruption network that had operated unchecked for years. However, forensic analysts later discovered that the witness protection system itself had been compromised. Over an 11-month investigation, analysts traced communications across phones and computers, uncovering unauthorized access to witness protection databases during periods when Menosa was being relocated. This breach eventually led them to Soabia's chief of staff, a major who later took his own life. On the major's computer, investigators found decoded messages detailing surveillance of safe houses and identifying moments when the witness was most vulnerable. One particularly damning message, sent from an account linked to General Soabia, read, "Problem resolved. Asset neutralized." The message was timestamped just 37 minutes after Menosa's body was discovered. His death had been staged to resemble a home break-in, but forensic evidence told a different story. As investigators dug deeper, it became clear that the Witness Protection Program, established in 2003, had never been designed to guard against threats originating from within the state itself. Approximately 200 individuals across multiple agencies had access to sensitive information, including safe house locations and movement schedules. These details were often discussed casually in interagency meetings and transmitted through unsecured channels such as regular email. Devices used by the program were connected to vulnerable networks, making them easy targets for skilled intelligence operatives. A formal review identified at least 47 serious failures within the witness protection system, exposing just how fragile it was. These shortcomings created the conditions that allowed Manosa to be tracked and ultimately killed. Evidence showed that General Soabia had attended meetings where the timing of Witness D's testimony was discussed, further strengthening the case against him. This revelation was particularly shocking given Soabia's background. He had excelled academically, graduated near the top of his class, and served in peacekeeping missions across Africa. His logistical expertise earned him praise and numerous awards, and he rose to the rank of general at a relatively young age. Colleagues described him as intelligent, politically astute, and highly effective. However, testimony from junior officers painted a darker picture. They claimed Soabia manipulated procurement processes to favor companies linked to his associates, rewarding loyalty and punishing dissent. Careers were allegedly destroyed for those who refused to comply. When Manosa's documents surfaced, prosecutors believe Soabia realized his empire was at risk. According to the state, the decision to eliminate the informant was calculated, deliberate, and driven by self-preservation rather than national security. The courtroom proceedings quickly turned into high drama, particularly during the bail hearing. Prosecutors presented phone records showing 4-3 calls between Soabia and the deceased major, along with financial transactions totaling 850,000 rand routed through foreign accounts connected to military-linked individuals. Surveillance footage placed Soabia in meetings with security operatives 9 days before the major's death. A cooperating witness testified that Soabia issued orders using coded language, framing murder as a resolution to a threat. Audio recordings allegedly captured Soabia planning the timing and location of the operation. Judge Becky denied bail, citing the risk of witness intimidation and interference with the judicial process. The fallout was immediate and far-reaching. 3 senior government officials cancelled public appearances, and the Minister of Defense issued a statement distancing the institution from Soabia's actions. Opposition parties demanded independent inquiries, while media outlets questioned the depth of government involvement. Public trust plummeted. Confidence in military leadership fell from 67% to 38%, and trust in defense procurement dropped to just 22%. Analysts noted the irony that the defense minister had previously argued against close scrutiny of military purchases, a position now widely criticized. The investigation itself began 3 years earlier, triggered by a suspicious 450,000 rand payment from a defense contractor to an offshore entity following a 78 million rand procurement deal. This led investigators to uncover a web of offshore companies linked to officers, contractors, and associates of Soabia. Over 8 years, Soabia had influence over 230 procurement decisions, many benefiting companies that paid kickbacks. Investigators identified at least 17 individuals who either actively participated or knowingly turned a blind eye. Some police officers involved were found to be living far beyond their means. Several were granted protection in exchange for cooperation, revealing the existence of both an official system and a hidden one operating in parallel. Foreign intelligence agencies also played a crucial role, providing signals intelligence that local agencies could not decode. Although the defense challenged the admissibility of this evidence on constitutional grounds, the court allowed it, highlighting the complex balance between national accountability and international cooperation. The defense argues that Soabia's actions were part of a counterintelligence effort, claiming he believed Manosa posed a national security risk. Prosecutors reject this outright, insisting that no justification exists for murdering a protected witness. Beyond the legal arguments lies a profound human cost. Manosa's widow and children spent months in hiding, isolated and traumatized. His daughter developed severe anxiety, his son withdrew completely, and his wife struggled with survivor's guilt. She has since called for sweeping reforms to protect whistleblowers, insisting that her husband's sacrifice must not be in vain. General Soabia once swore an oath to defend the Constitution. His accusers argue that he betrayed that promise, prioritizing personal gain over duty, weakening the military, and teaching younger officers that corruption, not competence, was the path to success. This case has exposed deep institutional failures, shattered public trust, and laid bare the dangers faced by those who dare to speak the truth. As the trials move forward, the nation watches closely, not only to see whether one powerful man will be held accountable, but whether the networks that enabled him will finally be dismantled and meaningful reform will follow.